The sound of ripping silk cut through Johnny Cash's voice on the jukebox. Dr. Amara Washington felt Tank Morrison's calloused fingers tear through her $300 blouse like tissue paper. Pearl buttons bounced off beer bottles, clicked against phone screens recording everything. "Wrong bar, princess." Tank's bourbon breath hit her face. The rattlesnake den erupted. 50 bikers cheering as Nashville's most dangerous enforcer exposed her sports bra to 2,000 live stream viewers. Then silence. Dead, instant silence. Tank stumbled backward. His tattooed arms dropped to his sides. Every phone in that bar lowered as they saw what her torn shirt revealed. Sometimes real-life stories surpass fiction. This entry in Nashville's Black Stories would become one of those touching stories that change everything. Because some life stories turn on a single devastating reveal. Have you ever been completely powerless, then watched your tormentor realize they'd just destroyed themselves? Thursday, 9:15 p.m. The rattlesnake den's door weighed more than it should, like it was warning her. Dr. Amara Washington pushed through anyway. Motor oil, stale Marlboros, something dead in the walls. That's what hit her first. Johnny Cash growled from speakers held together with duct tape. Every head turned. A blonde in a Confederate flag halter top nudged her boyfriend. "Uber driver's lost," she stage whispered. Amara's Armani blazer was armor in the wrong war. Her doctorate from MIT, her Pentagon clearance, her 3 patents in defense technology, all worthless currency here. But Jerome Patterson's text still burned on her phone. "Meet me at Rattlesnake. Need to see if you can handle real stakeholders, not just boardrooms. Your Veterans Center funding depends on it. 6 months courting that bastard. $20 million dangling like bait." The bartender's SEMPERFI tattoo flexed as he ignored her. 12 minutes, she counted. He served 3 bikers who arrived after her. Wiped the same spot until the varnish wore thin, a game they all knew. Vodka tonic. She kept her voice surgical steady. "Machine's broke." He made the exact drink for the biker beside her. The man lifted it toward her, a toast to humiliation. Her West Point training kicked in. Catalog everything. Exit points, 3, but kitchen door alarmed, bathroom window painted shut, main entrance now blocked by 2 prospects smoking. Security camera, fake, the real one hidden in the Budweiser sign. The bartender's pupils, dilated despite bright lights. The cash register, opening every 3rd transaction skimming. Her phone, 7% battery, 9:27 p.m. Jerome, I-40 accident. 10 minutes out. Do not leave. That's when Brittany Kovac, she'd learned the name later from court documents, went live. "Y'all watching? We got us a situation." Brittany's phone caught Amara in profile. "Obama's cousin just walked into the wrong neighborhood." The viewer count climbed. 50, 200, 500. Comments scrolled fast enough to blur. The N-word. Rope emojis. "Send her back. Probably has diseases. Someone check if she's armed." Manager Rick Dalton emerged from his office like a bear from hibernation. Leather vest couldn't hide the prison tattoos. A B-Aryan Brotherhood partially lasered, but still visible. He saw Brittany filming, saw opportunity. "Ma'am, your card declined." The bartender suddenly found his voice. "I haven't ordered. Cover charge. Thursday policy." Hand extended like a bear trap. She placed her Amex Black on the bar. He ran it, frowned theatrically. "Declined. Got cash?" The laughter rippled outward. Someone threw a peanut shell. It landed in her hair. She didn't flinch, that would feed them. Instead, she catalogued health code violations, 17 visible, fire hazards, 6, the cocaine residue on the credit card reader he'd just touched, 5% battery, 9:34 p.m. Then the air pressure changed. Everyone felt it, that primitive awareness of an apex predator entering. Tank Morrison didn't walk through crowds. Reality bent around him instead. 6'4" of condemned muscle, face like a carved threat. The iron cross on his neck still wept lymph fluid fresh ink, prison job. His knuckles spelled HATE/HATE instead of LOVE/HATE. Subtle wasn't Tank's genre. He reversed a chair at her table, sat spread-legged, claiming territory. This close, she smelled the meth cooking off his skin, saw the glass pipe outline in his vest pocket. Pentagon, huh? He held up her dead phone. Her badge app had flashed for half a second. Diversity hire? Some general's chocolate fetish? The slur landed like spit. The crowd pulled tighter. Brittany climbed onto a table. Yo, this Tank Morrison. Y'all know Tank. 3 confirmed kills in Kandahar. 2, Tank corrected. Third one was friendly fire. Black lieutenant who couldn't read a map. He stared at Amara. Bitch got me dishonorably discharged. Looked just like you. That was a lie. Amara had pulled Tank's service record the moment she'd gotten Jerome's venue choice. Discharged for selling military supplies to Afghan warlords. The dead lieutenant was white, male. But truth didn't matter here. Please? One word. Calm. Please? Tank stood. The physics of the room shifted. Please, what? Please, don't show you what happens to your kind here. Please, don't teach you about boundaries. Manager Dalton killed the music. Free drinks if she cries. The chant started. Strip. Strip. Strip! Exclamation mark. Tank's hand landed on her shoulder. Not a grip of vice. His thumb found the pressure point. Military precision. Pain shot down her spine, but her face stayed neutral. That enraged him more. Stand up. Not a request. She stood. He towered over her 5'6" frame. His other hand went to her blazer collar, fingered the fabric like he was shopping. Nice material. Expensive. His grip shifted. Be a shame if... The door chimed. Jerome Patterson walked in, silver fox hair, Rolex catching light, completely oblivious. He scanned the bar, saw Amara surrounded, saw Tank's hand on her, and smiled. Perfect, Jerome said. Tank, you're playing your part beautifully. Amara's blood crystallized. This wasn't a meeting. It was an audition. Jerome wanted to see if she'd break before investing. If she could handle his world. Tank didn't know he was being used. His grip tightened. The crowd sensed climax approaching. 3, Amara said quietly. What? Tank leaned down. You have 3 seconds to remove your hand. The bar exploded in laughter. David threatening Goliath. Tank's face split into genuine joy. Or what, bitch? 2. His free hand grabbed her blazer with both hands. 1. He pulled. Silk screamed. Buttons fired like bullets. The crowd roared approval as her $300 blouse disintegrated. Then, silence. Absolute, instant, perfect silence. The silence lasted 2 seconds. Then someone gasped. Then another. Then Brittany's phone hit the floor. Tank's hands still gripped the torn fabric, but his arms trembled. His eyes locked on Amara's exposed back. Not the sports bra, the scars beneath it. Scar tissue formed words. Not a tattoo battlefield surgery. Crude. Desperate. Someone had carved into her skin with probably a combat knife. Witness, Firebase Morrison, March 15, 2024. Below it, GPS coordinates. 34.7083 degrees north, 69.2094 degrees east. Tank knew those numbers. Every night for 11 months, he'd stared at them on Google Earth. The place his brother died. No. The word fell from Tank like a stone. No, you weren't. Marcus died with his unit. 13 Marines, no survivors. 12 Marines. Amara turned slowly. Didn't cover herself. Let them see. And one intelligence officer who wasn't supposed to be there. Who stayed hidden in a drainage pipe for 9 hours, listening to your brother bleed out 20 feet away. The live stream viewer count hit 4,000. Comments flooded. Holy shit. Is this real? Someone call the news. You're lying. Tank's voice cracked. Marcus died instantly. The report said. The report lied. Marcus lived for 3 hours, called for you. Amara's calm was surgical. Said you taught him to pitch. Said you were at every game even when Dad was drunk. Said the Taliban could go fuck themselves because his big brother was Tank fucking Morrison and Tank would avenge him. Details too specific to fabricate. Tank's legs buckled. He caught the table edge. But here's what Marcus didn't know. Amara picked up a napkin, dabbed blood where Tank's nails had cut her shoulder. The Taliban killed him with American ammunition. Armor-piercing rounds sold through back channels. Your channels, Tank. Bullshit! Manager Dalton stepped forward. She's making this up. His sentence ended in a wheeze. Nobody saw Amara move. Suddenly Dalton was bent over, her knee in his kidney, his arm twisted behind him. Rick Dalton, 2 rape charges dropped. Some cheese. Want to know why? She whispered loud enough for the live stream. Sarah Martinez didn't disappear. We relocated her after you broke her orbital bone. She's a nurse in Portland now, has twin daughters. She released him. He stumbled, face purple. Jerome Patterson edged toward the door. This is insane. I'm calling my lawyer. Call them. Amara didn't even look. Ask about the FBI raid happening at your Nashville office right now. The one finding $40 million in laundered money. The one discovering your partnership with the Sinaloa cartel. Jerome's phone buzzed. His assistant's text visible in the mirror. FBIHEROYTEIRUN. He ran, made it 3 steps before the door opened. Not police, not FBI. A single woman, 5'2", civilian clothes, unremarkable except for the badge she held. Treasury Department, Financial Crimes Division. Her voice was vanilla pudding. Mr. Patterson, your Gulfstream is being seized. Along with your yacht, 6 houses, and that Basquiat painting you thought we didn't know about. The bar watched their kingdom crumble in real time. But Tank wasn't done. Even if what you're saying is true, he pulled out a knife. Marine Kabar. You used my brother's death. You fucking used Marcus. The knife flew before anyone could blink. Buried itself in the dartboard. Dead center. Tank stared at his empty hand. Amara hadn't moved from her spot, 10 feet away. Impossible, someone whispered. Nobody's that fast. I'm not nobody. Amara pulled a small device from her pocket. Badge-sized. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Amara Washington, Defense Intelligence Agency, Undercover Operations Division, and this, she gestured to the bar, is Operation Rattlesnake. 18 months of infiltrating your entire network. DIA doesn't do domestic, Dalton started. Unless there's foreign involvement, she pointed to the Budweiser sign. That camera's been streaming to Langley since I walked in. The cocaine you're selling, Colombian. The guns, Russian. The money laundered through Turkish banks. Congratulations, you're international terrorists now. Brittany tried ending her live stream again. The phone wouldn't respond. Enes, locked your phone, Amara explained. Evidence. Your content creation includes 17 hate crimes, federal charges, but here's the fun part. She pulled out her own phone. 0% battery, completely dead. This died at 9:34. Everything since then? You did to a federal agent without any way for me to call for help. That's attempted murder of a federal officer. Life without parole. The math was brutal. 47 people. All looking at life sentences. Unless. However, Amara let the word hang. Cooperation gets consideration. Full testimony about every racist attack. Every payoff to police. Every politician who looked away. That might reduce life to 5 years. The stampede to confess should have started then. Would have. Except Tank laughed. Bitter. Broken. But laughing. You think you won? He stood, swaying. You got nothing. My lawyer will... Tank Morrison, a new voice from the door. Male, graveled. You're under military arrest for treason. 2 Marines entered. Dress blues. Military police. One held a folder. Selling weapons to enemy combatants. 17 counts murder by proxy. He opened the folder. Photos spilled out. Every American soldier killed by your ammunition. The 7th photo was Marcus Morrison. Tank collapsed. Not dramatically. Just stopped. Like someone cut his strings. The Iron Cross tattoo on his neck seemed to pulse with each sob. I didn't know. I didn't know it would come back to every bullet has a serial number. The Marines' contempt was acid. We traced them all. From your storage unit to Taliban hands to American bodies. Including your brother. The live stream hit 50,000 viewers. Hashtag Rattlesnake Down trending. The bar's 40-year reputation evaporating in real time. But Amara wasn't done. She walked to the jukebox, unplugged it. In the silence, sirens became audible. Many sirens. Those aren't cops. She addressed the room. FBI, ATF, DEA, IRS, Treasury, Marines, every agency you've pissed off. And they're not just coming here. She pulled up something on Brittany's phone, still streaming. A map. Red dots across 12 states, all pulsing. 47 rattlesnake bars, all being raided, right now, simultaneously. Your entire network, your entire brotherhood. Ending. The scope hit them. This wasn't one bar. Wasn't one bad night. This was extinction. Dalton made one last play. Reached under the bar. Not for a gun, for a button. Silent alarm connected to dirty cops. Already disconnected. Amara hadn't even looked. Officer Thompson and Sergeant Willis are in custody. They flipped 2 hours ago. No escape routes left. No cavalry coming. Just consequences, arriving with precision. The Treasury agent checked her watch. 90 seconds until processing begins. Decide now, defendant or witness. One by one, hands raised. Choosing witness. Choosing survival over loyalty. Tank stayed on the floor. Still sobbing. Still holding the photo of Marcus. Amara knelt beside him. whispered something only he heard. Whatever it was made him nod, made him pull out his phone, start typing. A confession. Everything. Every deal. Every contact. Every American who died. The Rattlesnake Den's 40-year reign of terror ended not with raids or violence, but with a black woman they'd tried to humiliate, who'd let them tear her shirt, who'd exposed her scars, who'd known exactly what those scars would trigger. Tank stayed on his knees, gripping Marcus's photo. His breathing slowed, stopped crying. Then his head snapped up. "Wait!" His voice was different, calculating. Firebase Morrison was classified. Black site. No survivors. Unless... He stood. The Kabar knife appeared in his hand from ankle holster. Nobody had checked for second weapons. Unless you're lying. The blade caught emergency light. Unless this is all bullshit. Marcus died in Kandahar. Not Firebase Morrison. I know because I identified his body. The room shifted. Even the Treasury agent stepped back. Tank had found the hole in the story. Amara didn't move. You identified a body. Burned beyond recognition. Dog tags conveniently intact. You're saying that wasn't Marcus. I'm saying Marcus died 3 weeks after you identified that body. She pulled out her phone, not dead, she'd kept it hidden. Showed a document. Department of Defense. Classified marking crossed out. Declassified yesterday. Operation Ghost Protocol. Marcus Morrison volunteered to fake his death. Go undercover. Investigate weapons trafficking from inside Taliban territory. Tank's knife hand trembled. No, Marcus wouldn't. March 15, 2024. Firebase Morrison. Real death. She swiped to helmet cam footage. Grainy. Night vision green. Your brother spent 3 months gathering evidence. This is his last recording. The audio was clear, despite gunfire. Tank, if you ever hear this, the weapons, they're yours, bro. Serial numbers match. Why did you... Marcus's voice cut off. The image spun. Went dark. Tank dropped the knife. It clattered across the floor. He knew? The words barely existed. He figured it out 2 weeks before he died. Traced serial numbers. Matched them to your storage unit in Memphis. Amara picked up the knife. Examined it. This knife? Marcus gave it to you for your 18th birthday. Inscription on the handle, Heroes Never Die. Ironic. She was right. Tank looked at the handle he'd held 1,000 times. Never noticed the inscription's accusation before. But here's the part that matters. Amara pulled up another video. Marcus sent this to CIA before his last mission. Marcus's face filled the screen. Alive. Exhausted. Sitting in a mud brick room somewhere in Afghanistan. If you're watching this, I'm dead, and the mission succeeded. The weapons ring extends beyond Tank, beyond our unit. It reaches... The door exploded open. Not blown off, kicked in professionally. 3 men entered, moving like water. Black suits, no insignia, not FBI, not police. Nobody move! The lead man's voice was mechanical calm. National Security Agency. This establishment is now under federal jurisdiction. Manager Dalton laughed bitter. You can't just... The agent placed a device on the bar. Every phone in the room died instantly. Brittany's live stream cut. Electronics fried. EMP pulse localized. The agent looked at Amara. Colonel Washington, you exceeded parameters. They needed to see the video. Negative. Marcus Morrison's message was classified ultra. You just revealed what Marcus died to expose. She stood straighter. His brother deserved to know. The agent considered, nodded once. Transport is outside. Everyone will be processed, separately. Wait! Jerome found his voice. NSA doesn't have arrest authority. You can't. We're not arresting anyone. The agent pulled out a tablet. You're being detained under the Patriot Act. Suspicion of terrorist financing. No lawyers, no phone calls. Indefinite hold. The room erupted, shouting, pleading, threats. Tank hadn't moved, still staring at the frozen image of Marcus on Amara's phone. There's more. Amara spoke only to him. Marcus's full message. The part NSA doesn't want released. Want to hear it? The lead agent stepped forward. Colonel, that's... Court-martial me later. She hit play. Marcus's voice continued. Reaches state level. Senator William Dalton. Governor Mitchell. 3 federal judges. But the real connection is Carlos Mendez. The cartel isn't just buying weapons. They're trading them for something else. Rick Dalton went white. No, we never... Homeland Security Intel. Marcus's recorded voice continued. Mendez trades weapons for classified intelligence about DEA operations, border patrol schedules, witness protection locations. Someone inside is selling secrets. Someone high up. The NSA agent raised his hand to stop the video. Amara stepped back, kept playing. The insider is... The video cut, not stopped corrupted. The file destroyed itself. No! Tank lunged for the phone. Who was it? Who got Marcus killed? That's what we're going to find out. A new voice from the door. A woman entered. Familiar but wrong context. Everyone knew her face from news broadcasts. Deputy Director Sarah Chen, CIA. This was never about your bar. She surveyed the room with predator eyes. Or your pathetic supremacist network. You were bait. To draw out the real threat. What threat? Jerome's Rolex caught emergency lighting as his hand shook. Someone in this room is a foreign asset. Has been for years. Feeding intelligence to enemies. Chen pulled out a device. Handheld scanner. This will tell us who. She started with Dalton. Scanned him. Green light. Clear. Moved to Jerome. Green light. Clear. Person by person. Green lights. Until she reached Brittany. The device screamed red. No! Brittany backed against the wall. I'm nobody. I just live stream. I'm Svetlana Volkov. Chen's voice was ice. Daughter of Dmitry Volkov. Arms dealer. Placed here 4 years ago to monitor weapons flow. Brittany's accent slipped, just for a second. But everyone heard the Russian underneath. Tank's girlfriend. Amara connected dots aloud. You pushed him to sell more. Encouraged him. Filmed everything not for TikTok but for intelligence gathering. Tank stared at the woman he'd shared a bed with for 2 years. You're Russian? Ukrainian, actually. Brittany/Svetlana dropped the act entirely. Accent thick now. Father is Russian. Mother Ukrainian. I choose sides based on profit. You got Marcus killed. Tank's voice was dead. You knew about Firebase Morrison. You told them. I told them nothing. Your brother found our operation on his own. Smart man. Too smart. Tank reached for the knife. It wasn't there. Amara had it. She's mine, Tank said. She's nobody's. Chen nodded to her agents. Svetlana Volkov, you're under arrest for espionage, conspiracy to commit murder of federal agents, and violation of the Foreign Agent Registration Act. 2 agents cuffed her. She didn't resist. Smiled instead. You think you've won? My father has reach everywhere. Prison, witness protection, nowhere is safe. Everyone in this room is dead. Just don't know it yet. Your father was arrested 6 hours ago. Chen showed her phone. Moscow airport. Interpol grabbed him. He's being extradited. Your entire network is done. Svetlana's smile died. The room sat in stunned silence. The racist bar they thought they understood was a Russian intelligence front. The woman they'd watched humiliate Amara was a foreign spy. The weapons ring was international espionage. So what happens to us? Rick's voice was small. Depends. Chen looked at Tank. Mr. Morrison, you have a choice. Federal prison for weapons trafficking, or ... quote. Or what? Cooperation. Full testimony about every deal, every contact. In exchange, witness protection. New identity. New life. That's not justice. Amara's voice cut sharp. Marcus is dead because his brother was greedy and stupid. Chen's tone brooked no argument. But Tank Morrison knows roots, contacts, networks we need to dismantle. His testimony saves lives, after he cost lives. Welcome to intelligence work, Colonel. Tank looked between them, then at Svetlana being dragged out, then at Marcus's photo. I'll do it. Everything. Everyone. But he met Amara's eyes. Tell me you recorded Marcus's full message. Tell me you know who the inside person is. Amara nodded once. I know, but that's not your fight anymore. Whose fight is it? Mine. She turned to Chen. Director, request permission to continue Operation Rattlesnake. Phase 2? The Insider? Senator Dalton was small. The real corruption goes higher. How high? Ask me again when I have proof. Chen considered. Nodded. Approved. Unlimited resources. Whatever you need. The transport vehicles arrived. Not buses, individual cars. Every suspect isolated. Tank was led out first. Stopped beside Amara. Will you tell me? When you get them? The person who really killed Marcus? You'll read about it in the news. He nodded, walked out, toward a new name, new life, old guilt. One by one, the rest filed out, each to separate fates. Some would flip, some would fight, all would fall. Amara stood in the empty bar, surveyed the damage, picked up her torn blazer. Tomorrow, she'd start hunting the real enemy. Tonight, she'd won the opening move. The war had just begun. 3:47 a.m., Nashville FBI Field Office. Conference Room Delta smelled like burnt coffee and fear. Amara sat alone facing 12 screens. Each showed a board member of Rattlesnake Incorporated, hastily dressed, panic barely concealed under Armani suits. She'd given them 1 hour to assemble. They'd taken 40 minutes. This is harassment. CEO Harrison Cross spoke first. His silver hair was perfect, but his eyes were hollow. Our lawyers are being arrested. Amara pulled up her phone. Mitchell Kowalski, booked 20 minutes ago. Jennifer Stevens, caught at the Mexican border. David Park, turned himself in rather than run. She let that sink in. You have no lawyers. You have no protection. You have meat we can hire, new. With what money? Deputy Director Chen entered the room, sat beside Amara. Every corporate account was frozen at midnight. Personal accounts at 2 a.m. Your wife just tried to buy gas, Harrison. Card declined. She's crying at a Shell station in Belle Meade. Cross's composure cracked. You can't. Patriot Act. Terrorism financing. We can do whatever the fuck we want. Chen's language was deliberate, shocking these pearl clutchers into reality. Board member James Mitchell unmuted himself. We're businessmen. We run bars. We're not terrorists. James Mitchell. Amara opened his file. March 2023. You personally approved a $3 million transfer to Dmitry Volkov, labeled it consulting fees. That money bought weapons that killed Marines. I didn't know. You didn't care, as long as the quarterly profits grew. She pulled up a graph. Your profits. Traced to blood. Every dollar mapped to a death. Margaret White, the CFO, finally spoke. What do you want? Everything. Every crime since 1981. Every payoff. Every body. Every senator you own. That would implicate hundreds. Thousands, actually. We've identified 3,000 co-conspirators, but we only have cells for about 300. So, Chen smiled. Let's make a deal. The board exchanged glances through their screens. The careful choreography of criminals deciding who to betray first. We need immunity, Cross started. No. Amara's voice was flat. You need to not die in prison. That's your best outcome now. The variable is how many years you serve. She pulled up a document. Harrison Cross, 63 years old. With a RICO conviction, you'll die in federal prison at roughly age 93 too. Your grandson's graduation? Miss it. Daughter's wedding? Miss it. Wife's funeral? You'll watch it on a prison tablet if you're lucky. Cross aged 10 years in 10 seconds. Unless, his voice was desperate, full cooperation, everything. Then maybe you're out at 78. Maybe you get 5 years of freedom before your heart gives out. That's not fair? Chen laughed. Tell that to Marcus Morrison. Oh, wait, you can't. He's dead. Because your company funded his killers. Amara pulled up new documents, bank records. Let's discuss real numbers, not your official books, the real ones. The screen filled with transactions, Cayman accounts, Swiss banks, cryptocurrency wallets, $2 billion in offshore holdings. She scrolled through. But here's the interesting part. The money going out. New records. Payments to names that made board members shift in their seats. Governor Mitchell, $3 million. Senator Thomas, $5 million. Judge Patricia Hayes, $2 million. Should I continue? Those were campaign contributions to offshore accounts. Amara zoomed in on one transaction. This payment to Judge Hayes. Same day she dismissed the Johnson family's discrimination lawsuit. Coincidence? Silence. Your corporate minutes. She pulled up another document. October 2023. Margaret White said, quote, "The ethnic cleansing of our establishments is proceeding on schedule." End quote. That was taken out of context. What context makes ethnic cleansing acceptable, Margaret? White's face went gray on screen. I want a lawyer. You want a lot of things. You'll get a public defender in about a week, after you've been processed. Chen checked her watch. Speaking of which, markets open in 2 hours. Know what happens then? Our stock becomes worthless, but that's not the fun part. Chen pulled up a press release. FBI announces largest domestic terrorism financing bust in history. That's the headline. Your faces beneath it. You'll destroy 20,000 jobs. You destroyed 20,000 lives. Every person of color you turned away. Every assault you covered up. Every family you terrorized. Amara's calm was cracking. showing molten anger beneath. But those 20,000 employees, they'll be fine. New owners already lined up. What new owners? Phoenix Hospitality Group, coalition of minority business owners. They'll buy your assets for pennies, transform every single bar. Your life's work becomes their revolution. The poetry of destruction was perfect. Cross looked like he might vomit. There's one more thing. Mara pulled up a final screen. Svetlana Volkov gave us something interesting. Margaret, you've been communicating with Moscow. Every board member turned to stare at White's screen. That's absurd. Email records. Amara displayed them. You've been selling customer data to Russian intelligence, military personnel who drink at your bars, their habits, their weaknesses, their debts. Treason, Chen's voice was ice. That's death penalty territory. White's lawyer veneer shattered. It wasn't supposed to, they said just information marketing data that got Marcus Morrison killed. Amara pulled up tactical maps. You told them about Firebase Morrison, warned them about the raid. I didn't know Americans would die. You didn't care if Americans died. The other board members were physically recoiling from their screens, as if distance from White could save them. Here's my offer. Amara addressed them all. Everyone except Margaret. Full cooperation. Complete testimony. 10 to 15 years. Out in 7 with good behavior. And Margaret? Life without parole, if she's lucky. If she's not lucky? Federal death row. White started sobbing. Ugly, desperate sounds. I have grandchildren. So did the families you destroyed. But their grandchildren got to watch grandparents humiliated. Beaten. Broken. Wait. Cross unmuted. If we testify against Margaret, against everyone, the cartel will kill us. You know that, right? Carlos Mendez was shanked in federal holding 6 hours ago. Chen pulled up a report. Survived, barely. But his organization is in chaos. The Volkov network is being rolled up by Interpol. Your protection is gone. Then we're dead anyway. Unless you're in witness protection. New identities, new lives. Amara let that dangle. But that requires complete cooperation. Every crime, every conspirator, every dirty secret. The board members looked at each other through screens, calculating. Who would break first? Who would sell out whom? James Mitchell cracked. I have recordings. Everyone turned to his screen. 20 years of board meetings, illegal ones, the real ones, where we discussed everything. You recorded us? Cross was incredulous. Insurance, in case you threw me under the bus. Mitchell pulled out an external drive on camera. 4 terabytes, every conspiracy, every murder we ordered. We never ordered murders. December 2019, the Martinez family. They were going to testify about the assault at the Memphis bar. You said, Harrison, and I quote, make them disappear. That wasn't literal. They disappeared. Car accident, all 4 family members. Mitchell's voice was steady. I have the recording of you confirming the hit was successful. The dominoes fell faster. Each board member suddenly confessing, competing to give more information, better intelligence. The careful loyalty of 40 years dissolved in 40 seconds. Enough. Amara stood. Federal marshals are en route to each of your locations. Surrender peacefully. Bring any evidence. Destroy nothing. What about immunity? Depends what you give us. Margaret gives us nothing. She gets nothing. Harrison gives us everything. He gets something. She moved to leave, stopped at the door. 40 years you built this empire of hate. It took 18 months to destroy it. But really? She turned back. It took one night, the night you decided to tear my shirt. You authored your own destruction. That wasn't us. Tank Morrison is your employee, your culture, your creation. Every racist who walked into that bar was following your blueprint. She opened the door. By noon, Rattlesnake Incorporated won't exist, but Phoenix Hospitality will rise from your ashes. The screens went dark one by one as marshals arrived at each location. Cross was last, staring at the camera as handcuffs clicked. We were an American institution. You were an American cancer. Amara cut the feed. And today, you're excised. 6 weeks later, 8:15 a.m. The rubble of Rattlesnake Den had been cleared, but construction hadn't started. Amara stood at the empty lot with Phoenix Hospitality's lead investor, Keisha Williams, a black entrepreneur who had been denied a loan by Rattlesnake's bank partners 15 years ago. We have a problem. Keisha held architectural plans that fluttered in morning wind. The other investors pulled out. All of them? 38 of 43. Threats. Their kids' schools getting calls. Dead animals on doorsteps. Keisha's voice was steady but tired. They're scared. The Volkov network was broken, but hatred had 1,000 heads. Cut one off, 2 grew back. How much do you need? 12 million, just for this location. Amara's phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Dr. Washington? The voice was familiar but wrong context. It's Jerome Patterson. You're violating bail conditions. I'm at my lawyer's office. This call is legal, monitored. I need to see you. An hour later, federal courthouse, attorney meeting room. Jerome looked like he'd aged a decade in 6 weeks. No Rolex, cheap suit, hands that wouldn't stop shaking. My son tried to kill himself. No preamble, 14 years old, pills, because of what I am, what I did. Amara said nothing. He's alive. Barely. Hates me. Should hate me. Jerome pulled out a folder. This is my confession. Not the legal one, the real one. Every crime, every body, every politician we owned, names the FBI doesn't have. He pushed it across. One condition. You don't get conditions. Not for me, for Phoenix Hospitality. He pulled out another document. Deed transfer. My personal properties. 17 buildings. Worth 40 million. Clean money. Inherited. Pre-crime. Amara studied the papers. Legal. Legitimate. Enough to fund Phoenix completely. Why? Because my son needs something to not hate about me. One thing. Just one. His voice broke. And because you were right. Your grandmother couldn't buy a beer. My grandfather made sure of it. That debt. Someone has to pay it. The board will destroy you for this. They already have. Margaret White ordered a hit. I'm in protective custody starting tomorrow. He stood. The buildings are yours. Phoenix rises. My son maybe forgives me before I die in prison. He left. Amara sat with 40 million in property deeds. Dirty money becoming clean purpose. Her phone rang. Chen, we have another problem. Tank Morrison's dead. The words didn't process. Witness protection. Failed. Found him this morning. Poisoned. Volkov's reach is longer than we thought. Tank was gone. The star witness, the living proof. Without him, dozens would walk free. But, Chen continued, He left something. Video testimony. 30 hours of it. Names, dates, routes. Everything. Inadmissible in court, but leads to evidence that is admissible. Exactly. He knew they'd find him, recorded everything first. Another sacrifice. Another death making justice possible. That afternoon, Phoenix Hospitality held a press conference at the empty lot. Keisha Williams stood where the bar's entrance had been. We're building, not just a bar, a community center, legal aid office, small business incubator, everything they tried to keep from us. Funded how? A reporter asked. Anonymous donation, 40 million. Someone's conscience finally worked. Amara stood in the back, watched hope rise from hate's ashes. Her phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. Dad gave you the buildings. I know. Thank you. Jeremy Patterson, Jr., the son forgiving the father, the future divorcing the past. CNN was broadcasting. The anchor, in a surprising development, Phoenix Hospitality has acquired. Amara walked away. Her part was done. She'd torn down the empire. Others would build what came next. Georgetown Law had accepted her teaching proposal. Not about prosecution, about prevention. Teaching businesses to audit themselves. Find discrimination before it metastasized. Margaret White had been right about one thing. The roots went deeper. But roots could be excavated. One bar, one business, one bigot at a time. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She answered. Dr. Washington? This is Special Agent Torres, FBI. We have another network. Bigger than Rattlesnake, codename Confederate Rose. 200 locations, $3 billion in assets. We need you. She looked back at the Phoenix construction site. Workers were arriving. The foundation was being poured. The future was beginning. Send me the files. The war wasn't over. Maybe it never would be. But today, Phoenix was rising. And tomorrow, Confederate Rose would fall. 1 year later, October 15th, 2 p.m. Dr. Amara Washington walked into Phoenix, Nashville, the bar that rose from Rattlesnake's ashes. Every table full. Every color, every age, every accent. The bartender, Timothy, the same one who'd ignored her that night, served a black customer with shaking hands. Court-ordered community service. 5 more years of it. In the corner booth, she met someone unexpected. Mrs. Morrison, Tank's and Marcus's mother. Tank's dead 10 months now. The old woman's voice was steady. Poisoned. You knew? Yes. He sent this before dying. She slid a USB drive across. Said you'd know what to do with it. Amara pocketed it. Later, she'd find 30 hours of testimony. Enough to convict 200 more. Tank's final ammunition in his brother's war. He was evil, Mrs. Morrison continued. Sold weapons. Got Marcus killed. But he was also my baby. The one who checked my insulin every morning. Evil and love in the same body. How do I mourn that? Completely. Amara met her eyes. You mourn completely. They sat in silence. Around them, Phoenix thrived. The TV above the bar showed breaking news. Confederate Rose Network raided. 400 arrests. The ripples spreading. Her phone buzzed. Text from Margaret White, federal prison. Testifying tomorrow. The person who ordered Marcus's death wasn't me. It was Senator Dalton's wife, Patricia. She's been running everything. The men were just faces. Check Tank's USB. He knew. -M. Amara's blood chilled. Patricia Dalton, the grieving political wife, the victim in all stories, the puppet master no one suspected. Another text. Unknown number. Dr. Washington. I'm 14. Black, in Tulsa. A diner here just did what Rattlesnake did to you. I documented everything. Live streamed. It has 2 million views. What now? She typed back. Send me everything. We build your case. They fall. Mrs. Morrison stood to leave. Stopped. Amara? Would Marcus be proud of how this ended? Marcus is proud. His evidence convicted hundreds. His death created change. His name means justice now. The old woman nodded, left. Through the window, Amara watched her get into a car with Marcus Morrison Foundation on the side. 17 kids in college because a Marine died gathering intelligence. The bartender, Timothy, approached nervously. Dr. Washington? I wanted to say... Don't. She stood. Apologies are words. You want forgiveness? Earn it. Every drink you serve equally. Every person you treat with dignity. Every day for 5 more years. That's your apology. She left Phoenix, walked past the construction site next door. Confederate Rose Bar being demolished. Another Phoenix rising. The cycle continuing. These real-life stories don't end with perfect justice. Tank died. Marcus died. Thousands suffered. But these black stories of resistance create roadmaps for the next generation. These touching stories prove that documenting discrimination can topple dynasties. These life stories show that one person standing up can make millions rise. Tomorrow, Patricia Dalton would be arrested. Next month, another network exposed. Next year, another Phoenix rising. The war never ends, but neither does the resistance. Your turn. You just witnessed how one woman's humiliation became an empire's destruction. It started with documentation, with refusing to be silent, with choosing strategic patience over immediate violence. What discrimination have you witnessed? What injustice have you documented? Share your story below. Not for sympathy, for strategy. Your comment might be the evidence someone needs. Your experience might be the courage someone seeks. Subscribe if you believe systematic hatred can be systematically destroyed. Share if you know someone fighting alone who needs to know others are fighting too. Remember, they thought tearing her shirt would break her. Instead, it broke them. What will your torn shirt become?